So, the show's as good as over. And much like myself, Doctor Who has promised many good things, pissed itself in public, and embarrassed itself online. In one way or another, I return to this show eternally. Luckily, the Doctor Who universe itself believes in the concept of eternal return. Eternal return, otherwise known as cyclical time, is the theory, the concept that time repeats itself. The same events will happen forever, over and over, for eternity. Tell me, does that inspire you? Or does it tap into the underlying paranoia you've always felt that you're taking the same steps, repeating somebody else's life in your own shoes? This idea goes all the way back to ancient Greece. Back then, the Stoics believed the universe was destroyed and reborn, then destroyed and reborn, periodically. Something you can literally make a case for when you look at the Doctor Who timeline. We've explored before in this web series the universe that existed before and will exist after us. Hell, even the Doctor's TARDIS being an image that just repropagates itself at will. Even when it doesn't make sense. The Doctor will always travel in the TARDIS. The Doctor will always come back for Gallifrey, take companions, and fight the Daleks. Does free will exist? The BBC's Doctor Who says no. Which also means, according to Wikipedia, that there is no possibility of salvation. Most of the expanded universe of Doctor Who will tell you that this is how Gallifreyan history operates, openly. Part of their history and politics takes this into account. The Doctor has been things before the Doctor, and still called themselves the Doctor, and had a TARDIS. When you apply this theory to the Doctor Who universe, lots of little details come under that umbrella, I think. Spatial genetic multiplicity.
Tell me, Gwen Cooper, are you from an old Cardiff family?
Yes. All the way back to the 1800s.
I thought so. Spatial genetic multiplicity, yeah. The funny old world.
There's no blood tie between Gwen and Gwyneth. This isn't the same template, remaking itself like cats in New Earth, or humanoid aliens in the Dark Times. Spatial genetic multiplicity means an echo and a repetition of physical traits across a time rift. So why is the Doctor asking about her bloodline? I don't know. This clunky bit of self-indulgence doesn't even make sense within the one line in which it was introduced. Sounds like Russell. This is how they explain actors playing multiple roles. Why is Ian Chesterton the spitting image of Robin Hood? Why does the first Doctor look exactly like the Abbot? Or Morton Deal like Stephen Taylor? There is a universal code that keeps spitting out this dude from the Silurians. Definitely not beating the Britain only has 10 actors allegations, but hey, you know. Can this explain why David Tennant eternally returns to the series Doctor Who? No. We're talking hard theoretical science here, boys. When we see time in the Doctor Who universe, it is depicted physically, literally, as a spiral. In Faction Paradox, it looks like DNA. The Infinity Doctors shows us that the shape of time is a coiled spiral. An ancient old Gallifreyan proverb says time moves in circles. Not to mention that the Doctor Who universe, as previously cited, has regeneration and reincarnation. There's a fact later on in this video that tells us that Gallifreyan society does the same old rigmarole every 100,000 years.
You okay?
I will be.
When?
1,000,000 years.
The society that the first Doctor was born into had the same structure, institutions, culture, and political turmoil as he did in his previous lives, be it the fugitive Doctor or the other. This is why the TARDIS is always a blue police box. The Time War itself is a repeat do-over of the War in Heaven, or the Millennium Wars, from the tides of time. These ideas just exist generally. Like different retellings of a story. Oh wait. Huh. That's Doctor Who. Are you telling me that in universe the Doctor Who timeline is to be treated non-literally? Huh. I wonder if anybody ever made a web series about that. But in a more meta sense, I think Eternal Return exists for all long-running franchises. Call me pretentious, but no matter what superficial modern changes we make, they will always revert back to the base idea. Doctor Who has existed then, and then, and then, and maybe... oh god, yeah, no, we should probably get on that. What I'm saying is, this is my long-winded way of saying don't worry about the show. There's so many other good things going on. The next you, in the next life, they'll be enjoying Doctor Who, even if they're a bunch of degenerated radioactive swamp monsters. You guys wanted Broke Canon back? Here it is, with the heavy sort of material that you love and recall. Also, Sooty died in the War in Heaven. Sooty, the bear, they got him. If none of that stuff went in, don't worry about it, I got you. Fact number 1. Sooty was assassinated during the War in Heaven. The mass murderer, Johnny Kebab, informs us of the murders of the Elephant Man, Joe Pasquale, and Sooty the Bear, out of fear of what he could do if he ever talked. Interesting, because we know that the bear lost his voice on a Doctor Who planet with Iris Wildtime. Fact number 2. Cod. There's no cod in Doctor Who. You clicked on this. You clicked on this wanting some trivia. And now I'm telling you that there's no cod. The fish. There's no fish. There are no cod on Earth in Doctor Who. Because we know there is COD Call of Duty thanks to Ryan Sinclair and his gamer skills.
Call of Duty, man. I've trained for this.
But when it comes to the fish, nah, they're all dead, brother. Cod were fished to extinction by the year 2019. I don't think anything on TV really corroborates or contradicts this. This is one of those lore additions that I love because it's so minimal. It doesn't matter the storytelling, right?
Makes me long for good old British fish and chips.
Is the cod, the fish, ever going to be a crucial part of future stories? I don't know yet. This short trip story tells us no, because they're gone. I'm not really getting past this. Landing in 2040, the Doctor and Frobisher watch an old man die of shock in the Antarctic.
Never mind the old timer, Doc. Where's all the fish?
They're all gone, Frobisher. And that man there was Stuart Mallory, renowned naturalist, one of the few people who cared. This dead dude is Stuart Mallory, a studier of marine life who tracked the extinction of penguin and fish breeds throughout his lifetime. By the end of his lifetime, no cod, no penguins. The chief cultural export. Alarmingly soon. I'm sorry, is no one else appreciating the gravity of this one?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
And the cod too.
That's fine.
And this happened, by the way, in 2019. That's Jodie Whittaker's watch. This is horrifying to me. With my cultural identity being 50% fish and chips and 50% probably like Doctor Who, right? I don't want to live in this world. According to this book, all sorts of crazy things are happening in 2040. We're on the moon. We have mail and information services and bases up on the moon. In 15 years' time, we can do that apparently. The Seventh Doctor joins a group of terrorists in an attempt to blow up the Pickering power station. Push the button, the Doctor urged her. Make your mark on history. Make an impact on the world it won't soon forget. All this was supposed to scare Canada into signing its military over to the US. Nobody was supposed to die. Push the button, the The Doctor snarled, louder this time. "It's the only way, Laura. We're all dead anyway, so you might as well take this entire city with you." In 2040, America almost nukes the West. Waters of Mars says that Earth is basically unsustainable. Agriculture decimated by appalling storm conditions. But most of all, it was when all of the cod of Earth were pronounced dead. Oddly, despite all the penguins being gone too, this was caused by overfishing, not climate change. We overfished the cod so hard that the penguins had nothing to eat. We starved them out. And yet, people in future stories can identify Frobisher as a penguin, when it was a very early victim of the human race. Huh. Okay. Wow. So, dead guy on the floor, Stuart Mallory. Over the course of his life, he's visited by the whole Doctor Who gallery. The second Doctor, Jamie, Victoria, Ace, Benny, and then lastly the Sixth Doctor and Frobisher. All of them help him get to Antarctica, where the Sixth Doctor presents him with the talking penguin. It's at this moment that he dies of shock. The Sixth Doctor intentionally planned for this good guy to get his Make-A-Wish Foundation and then wanted to kill him via penguin sighting because it would give him the best way to go possible. Doctor Who, you cannot make calls like that. It's very sweet what you've done here. You also killed a man. Was he meant to die? Were the cod meant to die? I don't know, I'm sort of going in circles on this one. The cod, man, the fish.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
And lastly, The Other. So you've probably heard of The Other, right? That big classic series, Cartmel master plan, that was explored in books like Lungbarrow and then would go on to inspire the Timeless Children? Yeah, sure. Let's speed round him. For everyone who doesn't, no jokes, no repetition, no deviation. One of the original 3 founders of Time Lord Society, whose existence is a mystery to all modern Time Lords. All 3 of them. The Other got married to a Gallifreyan woman, took her as his wife, and had a number of kids. The Other helped pioneer the TARDIS. Not just time travel, but the TARDIS specifically by the sounds of it. He seemed to command the hand of Omega. According to Lungbarrow, one of his sons joined the army to go and fight vampires. Because of course, we are in the dark times, Gallifreyan prehistory. Now, Soldier Son died before his daughter was ever born. A granddaughter called Susan. This mysterious Susan was the last naturally birthed Time Lord, and would coin the phrase TARDIS to name her grandfather's time travel experiments.
In electrokinetic theory, space expands to accommodate the time necessary to encompass its dimensions.
My little fellow scientist, we've been working on TARDIS for many years.
No, got nothing. The Other watches Rassilon go mad, probably assassinate Omega, like in the audios, and decides to scram. He's had enough. The Other throws himself into the biggest loom he could find, where Time Lords procreate, they grow Time Lords, don't ask, we're not doing fucking looms today. He jumps right in the biggest one, abandoning his family in the hopes that he will be reconstituted eons later. That eventual Time Lord was a little guy who we might know called Dr. Fun. The Doctor grows up, graduates from the Academy, becomes beloved comic actor Bill Hartnell, and had the hand of Omega jailbreak a TARDIS to go back to the Dark Times and pick up Susan from 10 million years prior. I'm your grandfather. You don't remember me, Literally, no. My grandfather threw himself into a fucking well. Susan is very trusting to go with this strange old man, but it is in character, isn't it? The psychic little ghoul. Now this is explicit. The Other is the Doctor. And Doctor Who fan club president Chris Chibnall was listening. Where did the Timeless Children come into this? By all means, it makes no sense, but that's one for the future. Where the hell does the 11th Doctor come into this? The Lost Dimension is a long, strange crossover event helmed by Titan Comics. It's a multi-Doctor story that is mostly unrelated to the grander plot, but in the middle, there's a moment where the 11th Doctor accidentally winds up in ancient Gallifrey. This is sacrilege. Again, this can't happen. Some kind of dimensional hijinks has happened in this arc that allows the Doctor to get around the time lock. This is the 11th Doctor. The Time War weighs on him quite heavily. He's about to save it in the very near future. This should be a much bigger deal than the comic makes of it. But hey, okay, we're doing it. Don't interfere with anything, Alice, otherwise I will pop out of existence. First thing he does is get involved, changes history, becomes a core component of Gallifrey's origin story within the week. What was the plan? The 11th Doctor comes upon a young TARDIS, going berserk, being held down with rope. And he's so good with this baby Type 1 TARDIS that Rassilon emerges, takes notice, makes him the pilot of the very first TARDIS tests. Okay, so that part's in line with everything we know so far. And then they start calling him the Other. Hey, Talent Comics, big fan. That doesn't actually work. Here in my hands, I hold a copy of Lungbarrow. That's not it. That's not Lungbarrow. That's not the Other. This isn't how it works. Which is fine. That's absolutely fine. But why are you still making the fan connection to connect it to the Other when you don't know what the Other is? All I'm saying is everybody at Titan Comics' creative team, and actually the upper management as well, should have been expected, no, forced to read Lungbarrow in its entirety.
Theta Sigma. The Other.
Yes, sir, Lord Rassilon.
You impress me. You're inventive, brave, talented. You're too modest to reveal your real name, just like the Chrono Scroll writers of old.
You'll die with me, Doctor!
Nods.
Theta Sigma, abort! Do you hear me? Abort!
Gallifrey is like a low-level medieval village in this time. They're doing crazy things, but there are still, like, normal houses. Cheese. The ancient Gallifreyans had cheese, which sounds normal, but actually think about it. And they had Ras. Rassilon is so nice. He's really nice.
I will not die!
Yeah, for a great big bastard, he doesn't come across that way at all. He's patient with the Doctor, he's genuinely impressed, and very, very friendly with him. Please, call me Ras. All my friends, call me Ras. Who is this guy? What happened to him? In an already crazy comic, finding out that Rassilon and the Doctor were originally buddies, chums, and that he let him call him Ras. That seems like the craziest thing of all. Anyway, the second Doctor shows up at one point. Oh no, it's Titan, what are you gonna do? If he does the test, terrible things will happen. Anyway, he does the test, he disappears. The very first test TARDIS becomes a universe-eating catastrophe with the 11th Doctor at the heart of it. Oh my god, how do we handle a ruptured TARDIS Armageddon? Something conceptually beyond the cosmos. Science, even alien to the Time Lord. Oh yeah, now all the Doctors arrive, and they click some buttons on their TARDISes. Sick. Yes! I love these guys. And then they killed it. Probably. I don't really remember how that one ends. It's not very good. But to make the 11th Doctor into the Other, one of the progenitors of Gallifreyan society, it's boggling. It's nuts. It is now an account of events in the series Doctor Who, whether you like it or not. So, the show's as good as over. And much like myself, Doctor Who has promised many good things, pissed itself in public, and embarrassed itself online. In one way or another, I return to this show eternally. Luckily, the Doctor Who universe itself believes in the concept of eternal return. Eternal return.